Drink beer, it's good for you.
Hello and welcome to the video. Within this video we'll be continuing with the history of homebrewing from 1997 into the present day. If you have not yet seen part 1 of this series, then I would recommend starting with that one first before returning to this second part. Okay, let's continue with the timeline. In the year of 1997, the American homebrewing supplies company More Beer released some of the first commercially available all-grain brewing systems, known as brew sculptures. The very first model is shown on screen now. This was indeed a significant milestone, as previously to this such systems were not available off the shelf as such and were ordered as custom systems. The brew sculpture range has continued to evolve ever since this time, and the current range of brew sculptures are available in 3 different configurations. Then in 1999, the same American company More Beer released the first line of stainless steel conical fermenters designed for homebrewers. And in the same year, More Beer also designed immersion wort chillers with the coils at the top, changing the way most wort chillers are made until this very day. More Beer have continued with the progressive development of better and better conical fermenters and have this year released the latest in the X range, the X3. In terms of wort chillers, this development has also continued and has expanded to 10 different immersion chillers to suit a wide range of brewing systems and construction options. In the year 2000, John Palmer self-published his now legendary first edition of the How to Brew book, which I believe many will agree is quite simply the Bible of homebrewing these days. Since this time, John has released various updated versions, and when I met and spoke with him last year, he told me that he was working on the next revised 5th edition, which I interviewed him about and posted as a video on this channel. In late 2005, YouTube was officially launched, and this led to further information being shared for homebrewers in the very useful format of video. My channel released its first video 10 years later in October 2015. Things were rather different back then, as I was just armed with a phone camera and had zero knowledge of making videos. In fact, my very first video just had text on screen rather than voiceover. I have learnt a few things since this time, and have gradually added more and more equipment for editing and filming, using the revenue from advertising to do this, and to ensure that the channel never makes a profit in any given year since its launch. This is a hobby for me rather than a business, after all. By the year of 2008, the German commercial brewing equipment company Speidel started to release their all-in-one electronic homebrewing systems, and they were certainly one of the first to do so at this time. Naturally, this brand is very premium with its build and pricing, which meant that only those with a budget were required to take advantage of its convenience. But certainly this was a groundbreaking system at the time, and it clearly inspired future products of this type. These systems included electric recirculation and heating, as well as a controller that allowed you to pre-configure your mash temperature and brew duration, along with other handy features including being able to see what this current task was with timers. These also featured a built-like-a-tank stainless steel construction with a malt pipe for your grain and a fixed centre post rod. There are also various plates for top and bottom of this malt pipe, as well as the ability to raise the malt pipe for sparging via a separate support bracket. Since these systems have continued to be updated with new features and better technology, and are still sold on the homebrew market today. Speidel offer a full range of sizes these days, with 10, 20, 50 and 100 litre models available for homebrewers. A year later, in 2009, Pepsi, the soda company, started to phase out ball-lock Cornelius kegs, leading to a large amount of these becoming available on the market, which gained a lot of interest from homebrewers in various countries who repurposed them for homebrewing, often at a very cheap price. Coke also phased out their Cornelius kegs, which were of the pin-lock type, but most of these were either destroyed or repurposed. However, over a period of time, Pepsi distributors sold off their old kegs, often to homebrew supply stores. Before this point, it was very common to bottle homebrewed beer, but since 2009, Cornelius kegs have become more and more commonplace, helping to avoid the dreading bottling hours, and finally more and more homebrew was being served on tap. Cornelius kegs have remained to be very popular with homebrewers ever since, and various manufacturers have made their own versions to the same specifications as the Cornelius company. In 2014, the very first Grainfather G30 was released into the market. This provided an all-in-one electric brewing system with a controller that was mounted very conveniently at the top of the system for the first time. Also supplied was a quality counterflow chiller rather than the basic immersion chillers that were commonplace at the time and to a point still are as bundled chillers. Within 2014 and onwards, the G30 made a significant splash in the market as it provided a great middle market option between the very budget and premium all-in-one brewing systems available at this time. It was also my first all-in-one brewing system and the brewing system that I had when I first started this channel. Since this time, various improvements have been made to the G30 and it is now in its third revision form. In 2015, the Australian company Keg King released the RoboBrew brewing system. Here is the first logo alongside one of the early models. The RoboBrew offered an electric all-in-one brewing system not so different to others in basic design and functionality, but this product was offering a good level of quality at a much more economic price point, allowing for more budget-focused brewers to join the electric all-in-one brewing system charge with confidence. There was certainly a change going on in the world home brewing market at this point in time as electric all-in-one systems were making big waves. The first ever blow-molded PET unit tank was successfully made in 2015. This was a groundbreaking moment as it allowed for both fermentation and serving from the same vessel, and because it was made from plastic instead of stainless steel, it was bound to be a huge success due to the functionality and price point. Here you can see Key, who you will know from Kegland, who was at the time a director of Keg King, with one of the early versions. Here you can see by the smile that it was a proud and happy moment for him. This game-changing product was released a year later in 2016 under the company Keg King. This product was known as the Fermentosaurus, of course, and offered a conical unitank vessel at a very affordable price. Previous to this, plastic-based fermentation vessels were very basic, and to obtain a conical fermenter usually required stainless steel construction along with a far higher price tag. The Keg King company still produced the Fermentosaurus, and Kegland now produced the BrewZilla, which in recent times has become the best-selling fermentation vessel in the world. Also in 2016, Grainfather surprised the world home brewing market with the release of the Grainfather Connect Bluetooth controller, which was simply groundbreaking at the time and became the standard controller for all G30 units from that point onwards, as well as being available as an upgrade to existing G30 units. I was supplied with one ahead of release for the first review on YouTube, and I produced a two-part review at the time providing all the details including how to use it. The new controller connected to your smartphone via a new app that allowed recipes in full to be transferred from brewing software directly to the unit, leading to an automated brew. You also had the ability to delay heating, plus the unit had a PID algorithm to avoid temperature overshooting, which were not so commonplace in the market at that time as they are now. This was certainly a busy year, as also in 2016 we saw the first release of the Tilt digital hydrometer. This was not the first digital hydrometer to be released in the world, but it was the first one good enough to gain mainstream homebrewers' attention. I remember reviewing this product on my channel at the time and being very impressed with how far this product had come. This Bluetooth connected product allowed users to track their fermentations via an app on their smart devices. The original technology behind this device came from a video game controller, and since then the company have continued to improve the product and now offer 3 different versions. Naturally, the Tilt has also inspired the marketplace to develop different versions too, and today there are various different products of a similar nature out there. In 2017, a number of the core Keg King team left the company and formed a new company called Kegland. Kegland replaced the Fermentosaurus with an improved redesigned version of the product, the BrewZilla, and replaced the RoboBrew with an improved redesigned version known as the BrewZilla. Naturally, both of these products have seen continued updates and improvements ever since, as well as having various different versions and new volume sizing added to their respective product ranges. Kegland have also become one of the world market leaders in sales of brewing systems, fermentation vessels, and much more. Also in 2017, Grainfather released a new conical fermentation system, which I was also the very first to review on YouTube. This new fermentation vessel was full of innovation at the time and offered a dual valve tap, dual skin insulated construction, inbuilt heating, and the ability to connect a glycol chiller, which Grainfather offered a year later. There were 2 types of controller, a basic controller and also a new type of smart controller that allowed for fermentation profiles and much more fine tuning too. Since this time, the Grainfather conical and glycol chillers have seen upgrades and still remain a popular choice. In 2018, the new Norwegian homebrew equipment company BrewTools released their new brewing systems, and this caused a big stir in the marketplace. These new brewing systems offered a very premium build and design, along with many new features never seen before for homebrewers previously, including a touchscreen controller, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, a conical bottom with centre draining, multiple temperature sensors, and a customisable three-way valve system that set BrewTools brewing systems aside from all competitors in terms of brew control. I was proudly the first channel on YouTube to produce a review about the BrewTools brewing systems in English, and I still remember being somewhat gobsmacked over how premium and fully featured these new systems were, and frankly still are. At this time many had never even heard of BrewTools and got their introduction from my video, but the company certainly needs no introduction these days to brewers across the world. The BrewTools brewing system has seen continued updates and improvements ever since, and leading from this success the company has developed further premium products as well as adding additional brewing system sizes to their lineup. In 2020, Grainfather switched direction and released the more premium G30, which offered a brewing volume of 70 litres. The G70 offered a higher grade of quality that was more robust than the G30, along with a much larger volume of course, a new controller, a sight glass, a new improved heating system, and a false bottom along with a conical base. The G70 was also supplied with a much larger counterflow chiller. Since this time the unit has had further enhancements leading to the tech conversion of the system. A year later, Grainfather released the G40, which seemingly offered a smaller version of the G70, but along with this came some improvements on the Grainfather G70's design. The new system offered brews of up to 40 litres, the same heating system as the G70, leading to more power and all of the same features of the G70. However, the real game changer here was a much appreciated shift from a grain basket with middle pipework to a grain basket that had perforations that needed no middle pipework or top plate. This made for a much easier and improved brewing experience. Once the G40 came, it replaced my G30. It was sad to see my G30 go, but a man can only own a certain amount of brewing systems, and the G40 ticked all the right boxes as a replacement for me. In 2022, Kegland became the first manufacturer of home brewing systems to offer a way to increase the volume of the brewing system to allow for larger brew sizes via a boiler extension product. At the same time, they also released extended malt pipes to allow for an increased grain build too, along with a perforated grain basket, negating the need for a middle pipe. However, this featured a different design compared to the offering from Grainfather. These volume and grain bill increasing products support both BrewZilla and RoboBrew brewing systems and to this day are compatible with a wide range of models, including the very latest models that have been released since. Certainly this was and still is very much a real game changer. Also in 2022, Kegland released the first of their Oxybar kegs along with supporting tapping heads. Unlike other plastic kegs in the market, Oxybar kegs use a polymer blend that increases their protection by 300% to outside oxygen and CO2 loss. Kegland, the manufacturer, state that they recommend up to 6 months worth of beer storage within Oxybar kegs, which is certainly a game changer for kegs at these budget-friendly price points for sure. The first release in 2022 was 8 litres in volume, with 4 litres and 20 litre versions being added in recent times too. These are key product releases for sure because kegging in the past was many times more expensive due to the need for stainless steel for keeping your beer fresh for any reasonable amount of time. The smaller Oxybar kegs are cheap enough for most people in the 4 litre and 8 litre forms that many would not mind giving them to friends and family full of homebrew and will be in no hurry to get them back, unlike stainless steel kegs. So not only are these money saving, but they also help homebrewers share their beer with others, which is a great thing for sure. Then a year later in 2023, Kegland made another surprise release, this time in the form of the new BrewZilla Gen 4 in both 35 litre and 65 litre volume sizes. Generation 4 was for certain the largest BrewZilla update yet, and brought Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity along with more advanced features like a full colour controller display and a concave draining base for the first time to homebrewers at a more budget-conscious price point. This system also offered, by standard, a grain basket with perforations that needed no middle pipework or top plate. The power cable was also detachable now, making for easier storage. Nobody, including me, expected Kegland to release such a fully featured and technologically advanced system, especially at this price point, but here it was, and soon after release, new upgrades started to appear in the market from Kegland for further enhancements alongside existing upgrades that could increase the volume and grain bill size, and all at very reasonable pricing compared to the competition, giving BrewZilla an even further leap in the market popularity. Since this time, a number of further upgrades are available, and a 4.1 model which adds in a key number of upgrades too. The BrewZilla Gen 4.1 systems are available in 35, 65 and 100 litre models. In this same year of 2023, the BrewZilla became the world's best-selling single-vessel homebrewing system. Also in 2023, yeast company Lallemand released a groundbreaking lager yeast known as Nova Lager. This was created using classical and non-GMO breeding methods, and the end result provided a true lager strain that offers a far wider and higher fermentation temperature range, an ale-like pitching rate, an alcohol tolerance of up to 13% ABV, and the ability to ferment a lager style in less than 1 week. Naturally, having all of these lager yeast game changers in a single strain is really something special. Also known as a modern hybrid lager yeast, Nova Lager also offers enhanced biotransformation for those that want to obtain more flavour from dry hopping when using the yeast for styles like IPL or cold IPA. Due to all of this, Nova Lager has been a very popular yeast since launch. Now I have 3 questions for you. Firstly, when was homebrewing made legal in your country? Secondly, are there any events not mentioned in this video that you feel are adequately noteworthy in this history? Thirdly, what about this year, the year of 2024? Is there anything that you feel worthy of a place in homebrewing history? Please share your answers and thoughts in the comments section of these videos. I hope you enjoyed this 2-part mini-series as much as I did researching and creating it. Perhaps in some more years I will provide a 3rd part to the series. I do hope that you found this video useful, informative and interesting. If so, why not consider liking and subscribing? For further support, you can join the channel's Facebook group, and if you would like to support the channel, then check out the channel's merchandise store, as all profits go back into the channel. Until next time, happy brewing!